Good evening, good evening, good evening, you guys. It is 11:58. It is still November 29th, Saturday. Yeah, November 29th, Saturday. I had to come back and release this fresh revelation I got from this morning's word that I was given. That came from the dream that I received 2 nights ago. The dream I received 2 nights ago. Hold on. I'm going to get on the screen, but hold on a second, y'all. Cause this is crazy. Hold on. So I was going to try to wait till tomorrow, but I fear that if I wait till tomorrow, this might get out too late because the kids will have been back with me, and yeah, when they're here, it's harder to get these words out. So I'm blown away. I am completely blown away by God right now. Okay, so y'all know I released a dream this morning, but I had the dream on, let me look for the date. I had the dream on the morning of November 28th, but the night of the 7th. So I went to sleep November 27th, woke up November 28th, and wrote down the notes for the dream. I'm blown away. I just got fresh revelation from the dream I delivered this morning. Let me pull up the emails I sent to myself. I should not be here before y'all long. No, that's not what I need to do. So if you haven't heard today's dream, this is probably not going to I don't want to say it won't make sense, but you're going to miss a great chunk of Zorro Go. You're going to miss a great chunk of what you need to fully understand because I'm not going to go into the whole dream, right? Yeah. I'm not going to go into the whole dream. I'm just going to give you a revelation of what I got from the dream that I didn't get before. So the dream I delivered this morning, it was called What They Did Was Egregious, But It's Dead, Move On, right? Hashtag move on. So to paraphrase the dream, I'll roughly talk about it. So the dream was about a couple, right? Who, the God ordained spouse, the man, the man was hiding something or did something, right? And it wasn't just a something. Like in the dream, he murdered someone or harmed someone or slain someone, right? And I said how there was a dead body that he was trying to bury or to conceal or to cover and dispose of, right? And we talked about this. It wasn't shown that he did this act. It just showed him burying the dead body or trying to get rid of or dispose of the dead body. Now, please go watch that dream. I'll link it in the comments below because I don't want you to take anything that you're thinking right now is the revelation, and it's not. Like, for example, it wasn't a real murder or real attempt to harm someone in real life. That's not what that's about. This is a spiritual revelation God has given me for what's happening or has happened or happening or about to happen. When God gives you a prophetic word or prophetic dream, it's in advance, right? So if it has already happened for you or is happening right now, okay, glory to God. But a prophetic word or prophetic dream is something that goes before, is delivered before the event comes about, right? So anyway, let me pray. Father God, thank you. You are so awesome. Like, my mind is blown. You are just so awesome. And you reveal yourself more and more each day. It's insane. I just thank you for choosing me. Thank you for speaking to me. Thank you for giving me your dreams. And thank you for sending confirmation, because when I think I'm crazy, you show me I'm not. And I just thank you, thank you, thank you. It's in your precious son, Jesus' name. I love you, adore you, magnify you. In Jesus' name, amen, amen, amen. Okay. So I told y'all, like I said, if you did not watch the dream, the word released this morning from the dream I had November 28th, stop this live when you see it, pause it, go watch that, and then come back here. Please, 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 because you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't do that, okay? Okay, so in the dream, I said it was a couple. The spouse had committed a crime. He was trying to hide it. The God ordained wife, or the standing spouse, whatever, knew that he was hiding something. She went to go find the evidence. She saw the evidence of what he was hiding and was like, "Why didn't you just tell me?" And that was the gist of the dream, right? But in the middle of the dream, I told you guys in the previous live, that the couple, although it was consistent storyline through the dream, the couple changed characters, races, and faces, right? So in the beginning of the dream, the couple was a Hispanic couple. Like the beginning of the dream, the couple was Hispanic. Towards the middle of the dream, the couple, it didn't show the wife, but it showed the God ordained spouse, who happened to be Ed Sheeran, which is the singer, which is why we're here. I'm about to get to that. In the middle of the dream, he was Ed Sheeran. Then towards the end of the dream, it was my God ordained spouse and myself, right? Again, storyline was consistent all the way through. No gaps, no spaces, nothing. It was all one storyline, just the characters were changing. So my first revelation of the dream, and that's why you have to sit with God, but also let God continue. Don't just think you have all the revelation. And this is stuff that I teach. So if you are a prophetic dreamer and you need help learning a dream or interpreting a dream, you can send me an email. We can talk further. But this is why you don't just accept the revelation you got as that's being all, end all, be all, because you can get even more revelation. It's like reading the Bible, right? I can get revelation from it today, from this one particular verse, read that same verse tomorrow and get a fresh revelation, right? That's what happened today. So the first revelation that I received or got, as far as the couples changing faces and races, God was showing me that this is happening for many people, or has happened for many people, right? This where one spouse is hiding something, the other spouse senses them hiding something, they find the evidence, and then their countenance is like, "Why didn't you just tell me? We could have gotten through this," right? Pretty much. So it going from a Hispanic couple to Ed Sheeran. I'm assuming if the wife was shown at that particular time, she probably would have been white, or Ed Sheeran's wife, right? But I never seen who Ed Sheeran's wife looks like in real life, so that's probably why God didn't give me an image of the wife at the time. But he knows that I know who Ed Sheeran is. So, and then like I said, in this same couple, they changed from Hispanic to Ed Sheeran to me and my spouse, right? So God was saying this is happening for multiple people. That's why I'm showing you multiple different faces, right? But I'm sitting in the car literally just now, and all day, not all day, but maybe like 3 times throughout the day, I'm like, "Lord, why the Ed Sheeran?" Like, I keep going back, because you could have showed me just a random white couple that I didn't know. Just like the Hispanic couple, there weren't people that I knew. There weren't a famous people that I knew. There was just random Hispanic people. You could have showed me random Caucasian people, right? And you showed me and my God ordained spouse. You could have showed random Black people, right? African American people, whatever. But you chose this Hispanic couple that I don't know. You chose Ed Sheeran for a reason, and then you chose me and my spouse for a reason, right? So like, it wasn't all day because I did a lot of things today. My brother was in town, spent time with him, did a lot of stuff today. So I wasn't fully wrestling with this Ed Sheeran stuff, right? But I thought about it throughout the day, like maybe 2-3 times throughout the day. Like, God, why did you choose Ed Sheeran? Why did you choose Ed Sheeran for this second part of the dream? For not second part, but for this representation of this couple, God ordained spouse union. Why did you choose Ed Sheeran? So I assumed that, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to go back and look at his lyrics, the song that I sung, take me into your loving arms, we found the right where we are. However it goes, whatever song. I'm like, Lord, maybe I need to look up those lyrics. Maybe you're trying to say something from that song. So I had planned to look up the lyrics later, right? After I got off the live, I'm like, God, maybe I'll look up the, those lyrics of his popular song, because that's all I know about Ed Sheeran, right? So then I thought about him again today, and again, because I was busy all through the day, I didn't go investigate. I didn't go research. But now that the night is ending and, it's time to go home, my brother's driving me home, I decided to type in Ed Sheeran, right? And immediately when I type up Ed Sheeran, I don't believe I typed in Ed Sheeran marriage or anything like that. I think I just typed in singer Ed Sheeran just to see what would come up. You guys, so much has come up, and not so much has come up, so much has come up recently. I'm talking about articles that have just been dropped 8 hours ago from this time right now. That's why I'm like, no, I gotta go live right now. Let me show y'all. So I type in Ed Sheeran, a bunch of things come up, and it says, it talks about, I just saw a Taylor Swift mention. It talks about Ed Sheeran and like his relationship with Taylor Swift as a friend, right? Also saw another thing I saw that he was married, right? I saw that he was married. He married his high school sweetheart, or they met when they were kids. Some articles said high school. Another article that I read right before coming on live said they met when they were 11. So they probably met when they were 11 and then dated in high school. I'm not sure this exact story, and that they got engaged, which is also another point. They got engaged in January of 2019, and then got married July 2019. That's a whole nother thing too. So, let me try to go to what I found. So there was an article I had to send to myself. Okay, I'm going to click on this article and read it. Mind you guys, this article said 10 hours ago, right? This article was released 10 hours ago. And I'm going to even tell you the date. 9:55 p.m., November 29th of 2025. 9:55 p.m. or a.m. It had to be a.m. because it said over, 10 hours ago. I'm not sure what time zone they were on. I'm in Central Standard Time. But they released this article, 9:55, I'm assuming a.m. because it said it was 10 hours old, and it's 12 o'clock now, so it had to be a.m.-ish. November 29th of 2025. This is a new article released today. Well, now it's the 30th. Now it is Sunday, November 30th, because it just hit midnight. My Central Standard Time, 12 a.m. midnight. This article was just released yesterday. Probably around the same time I gave the dream this morning. The word for the dream this morning. So, yeah, hear this out. So, mind you, in the dream, Ed Sheeran, okay, I told y'all in the dream, when the God-ordained wife discovered evidence from what the husband or boyfriend or God-ordained male spouse did, she said, why didn't you just tell me? She grabbed his face, kissed him in the mouth, and was like, why didn't you just tell me? With tears in her eyes, why didn't you just tell me? Why didn't you just tell me? Like, basically, like, you ruined our relationship. You ruined our lives, forever. You changed our lives forever. You could have just told me, right? You didn't have to go through this by yourself. Please go watch that word. Okay. So it says, I'm about to read this article to y'all. It says Ed Sheeran admits his relationship troubles on his new album. Okay. Ed Sheeran has given fans a rare insight into his marriage to Cherry Seaborn. The 8th studio release. 8 is number of new beginnings. This is his 8th studio release album. It's called Play. His 8th album. Okay, and I'll go look up more information on that just to make sure that's to confirm that that's true. The 8th studio release, Play, sees the singer reveal how he and his wife, Cherry, 33, have battled to keep their marriage alive, right? And in the dream, I wondered why. I didn't wonder for like a long time, but I was just like, the spouse never responded. Ed Sheeran never responded in the dream. Like when she was like, why didn't you just tell me? Why didn't you just tell me? You went through this all by yourself. Why didn't you just tell me? The new release features 13 extra tracks, which describe how his 3-year mathematics world tour had a drastic effect on his family life. Mind y'all, I told y'all the dream. It's called the live is called The Act They Committed Was Egregious, right? Egregious, but it's dead now. Move on, right? And we talked about how egregious means something so bad, something severe that it altered, like I said, the woman, the God ordained spouse or the God ordained wife, was like so tears in her eyes, distraught. Like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you just tell me? Like, the act was so crazy of what the God ordained spouse did, like trying to bury this thing, right? To kill this whatever it was, right? But it was a body bag, like I said. This is so crazy. So yeah, in the dream, she's like, why didn't you just tell me? Why didn't you just tell me? Okay, it says the tour that he did, 3 years mathematics world tour, had a drastic effect on his family. Drastic. Okay. Ed 34 played 188 shows over 5 continents for the string of live dates, while Cherry remained at home in Suffolk to take care of their 2 daughters, Lyra and Jupiter. Right? Mind you, I didn't stress so much about the detail in the dream that although my daughters were not in the dream, because again, the couple in the dream was not me and my God ordained spouse initially. It was a Hispanic couple. Then it was Ed Sheeran and whoever the wife would have been talking to, right? It was the Hispanic wife. It was still the Hispanic wife talking to Ed Sheeran, right? And then towards the end of the dream, it became me and my God ordained spouse. And when I asked him, like, why didn't you just tell me? Why didn't you just tell me? My family came to pick me up, and me and my daughters went with my family to be picked up, right? So even the correlation here, they have 2 young daughters, right, that she's been raising pretty much by herself. The strain of spending so much time apart saw Ed and Cherry have a string of blazing rose. Okay, the strain of spending so much time apart saw Ed and Cherry having a string of blazing rose. Now, I'm assuming this is a non-American article because they talk a little funny, right? So it sounds funny, and that's why I'm reading it funny, because the wording is funny. Ed also worries about the impact on his relationships. I think he's from London or Australia or something like that. Ed also worries about the impact on his relationship with his children, that he has not been a good enough dad to them. So remember, I told you in a dream, the wife was like, why didn't you just tell me? Why didn't you just tell me? Like, and spiritually, even though she didn't say it, she basically was like, you ruined our lives. Like, you changed our lives forever. Like, this impacted our life. Like, right? So then it goes to, the article says, Ed and Cherry share 2 daughters, right? That's confirmation again. So I'm like, God, okay, I see why you choosing him now, why you chose Ed Sheeran in a dream now, right? It says he sings on the track Problems. So the track is called Problems. Flowers in our garden are dying. When did the water run dry? Who can tell? But you want the truth? We're not fine. We got problems and we don't know how to solve them. On Wild War Game lyrics, the lyrics say, so they're pointing out different lyrics of his new album that he must have just released, because this article says November 29th of 2025. God gave me this dream November 28th of 2025. Okay, so when I delivered this dream this morning, they must have wrote this article while I was delivering this dream about Ed Sheeran. Are you kidding me? Okay. It says he sings on the track Problems. So one track is called Problems. Flowers in our garden are dying. When did the water run dry? Who can tell? But you want the truth? We're not fine. He says we got problems and we don't know how to solve them. Then it says on Wild War Game lyrics, so this is another song, the lyrics say, every day we feel deflated, trying to roll with all the changes, reality of what we created. Okay, every day we feel deflated, trying to roll with all the changes, reality of what we've created. Okay, there's no one above you or below you. You are all I want. Okay, this is what God is saying. I have to put a pin there. This is what God is saying that spouses are feeling, right? This is why this is why in the dream, the God ordained spouse, the male spouse, he buried this and dealt with this issue alone. Like he was maybe drowning in the relationship, maybe drowning inside himself, and didn't know a way to get out, didn't know a way to free himself or fix the relationship, right? So he tried to like kill off what was interrupting the marriage or the relationship. Right? But like I said, it could have been a counterfeit woman, a counterfeit spouse, counterfeit marriage. It could have been a counterfeit job. It could have been a counterfeit relationship, counterfeit side chick, whatever. Whatever they did counterfeit wise, they tried to they killed it, right? They ended it, but they tried to bury it and hide it and get rid of it on their own, right? And so God is saying that God ordained spouses have been feeling this burden on their own, like feeling like feeling deflated, right? Feeling like the reality that you guys created, they had to deal with alone, or the reality they created, right? Maybe the counterfeit situation, they felt like they were alone. They felt deflated. They felt defeated, right? And they tried to dispose of the body by themselves. In the dream, like I said, it was a body bag. It never shows the spouse committing the act, but he was getting rid of a body bag, right? And trying to put a body bag in the plastic bin, right? So while he's going away trying to dispose or get rid of this bin with this body in it, right? The wife or the God ordained spouse or the woman or the female, the girlfriend, whatever, goes to the house to go look for the evidence of what she knows in the spirit happened, but she can't prove it. Like she knows that the spouse did something, right? She can sense it. She has this discernment to feel it, but she doesn't know for sure, like has no evidence of what actually happened. So she goes into the house and looks for evidence and finds a piece of the orange bin. Like I told y'all, it was like a Home Depot storage bin, a Walmart storage bin, just think like that, but it was orange. Now I don't know why the color is orange. Maybe God will reveal that to me later, but just like fresh revelation now, sorry, somebody texted me, I just got distracted. Just like fresh revelation I'm getting right now, God could probably give me the revelation for that in the next day or two, tomorrow, maybe when I go to sleep, who knows, right? But the wife or the spouse or the girlfriend, whatever, fiance, whatever, finds the piece of the orange bin in the house. So when she gets up and realizes like, oh my gosh, this is the evidence, that's when the God ordained spouse, the male, comes home and sees that she has the evidence, right? And so he just looks at her. He doesn't say anything. And she's like, why didn't you tell me? Like, why didn't you just tell me, right? And so she grabs his face and she starts kissing him. And she's like, you could have just told me. You could have just told me. Like, and then, so there's things that God gives me. There's things that God gives me in the spirit, in a dream, without it happening. So I'll know something in the dream without it physically happening. So although the God ordained spouse or the wife or the woman, whatever, although she says why didn't you just tell me? Why didn't you just tell me? Spiritually, I knew what she also was saying, like, you ruined us. Like, you did this by yourself. Like, you didn't have to do this by yourself. Like, you did this on your own. You tried to bury this on your own. Like, we could have did it together. Like, we could have buried the body together. Like, pretty much like that. Like, you didn't have to go through this alone, right? So not only did you have to go through this alone, but like, you changed our lives. Like, for what, right? So in the dream, Ed Sheeran never responds to her. He's just looking at her. Like, he didn't look at her like, I want to say he kind of had like a sad countenance to his face, but he never says anything. He never responds, right? It just goes to the end of the dream where my family ends up, so the Ed Sheeran and the Hispanic woman ends up changing into me and my God ordained spouse, right? Ends up changing to us, and I leave with my 2 daughters and go with my family in the dream, at the end of the dream, right? So back to the article on Ed Sheeran that was released this morning when I delivered this word this morning. I cannot make this up. So it says on his song, on his track, because he just released his 8th studio album. Again, 8 is the number from New Beginnings, right? He just released an album called, I believe it's called Play. I'll look it up and make sure that I'm not, misunderstanding this article. But he just dropped an album, studio release, 8th album called Play. A few of the tracks, it says, it references the problems that he's having in his marriage, right? And so we just talked about how one of the lyrics is, flowers in our garden are dying. When did the water run dry? Who can tell? But you want to know the truth? We're not fine. We got problems and we don't know how to solve them, right? On another track, it says, every day we feel deflated, trying to roll with all the changes, reality of what we've created. That's another track. Then another song, he says, there's no one above or below you. You are all I want. But I feel that it's not enough just to offer you my love. Inches from moving out and moving on. Either in love or we're insane, right? Either we are in love or we're insane, okay? This is also what God is saying God ordained spouses are feeling. Like, they inches from moving out, moving on. Maybe they already moved out, moving on, right? And they're like, either we really in love or we just really insane and this is crazy, right? So it says regret is another, it said regret. So the article says regret sees the global superstar appear to blame himself as he admits his remorse over spending so much time away from his family. So in the article, it also says that him and the wife have 2 children, 2 little girls. Me and my spouse have 2 little girls as well. So I'm like, God, like, you are crazy. It says he sings, it says so he regrets the time that he spent away from his family. The lyric says, why does it feel like our lives are in a slip and slide? Kids, they add stress. Work ain't working the best. But that ain't the explanation why this love is a mess, right? So the article says he also alludes to the pair arguing in public as he sings. He says, I push it down to avoid a situation, but all it does is come out in public places. Can't be as open when they recognize our faces. That's crazy, because I told y'all, please, like I said, please watch the earlier video today. But I told y'all in the beginning of the dream, I put in my notes that this couple was a TikTok Hispanic couple, right? And I said TikTok, but it really wasn't TikTok. I just knew that they were popular on social media, right? And maybe it wasn't, and God was saying, maybe God did not say that, but I feel like God was showing me that you guys could have been popular on social media or popular in your hometown, or people just know that you guys are like, you are well known of being together. Like, people know that, oh, like, okay, that's Janisha man, right? That's her husband, or that's them 2 are together. Like, people know y'all for being together, right? So God was showing me it could be, you could be popular like on social media, have online social media presence, or people just recognize and know y'all to be together. Like, oh yeah, they've been together for years, or like, yeah, they were sweethearts in high school. Like, your relationship is well known. Okay, so that's what God was saying to me. Why, like I said, it wasn't TikTok per se, but I just knew that they were a popular couple. Like, people knew them for being together, right? He just says in the lyrics, can't be as open as we want to be because they recognize our faces, right? Like, you guys are recognizable. People know y'all for being together, right? So anyway, then it says, if they think it's heated, I guess that's an understatement. So it says the singer also sings about the demands of his career and fatherhood. He says, you're too young to understand that daddy is coming home. Every time I leave the house, you think I'm forever gone, right? So that's even like your children have been affected by the back and forth, right? Your children are not even understanding the back and forth that, you know, your spouse is doing, right? And if this is a different gender for you, switch it. And we're talking about heterosexual, God ordained relationships. But if you are the husband and your wife is the wayward spouse or the prodigal spouse or the spouse that's, you know, ran away, whatever, you know, it still applies. Let it apply how God's telling you. Then he says, guess it's from the 100 calls, good nights on the telephone. See this tour, I gotta get it done. But why? Missed out on so much. I really need to make it up. So although your spouse may not be on tour, they're away though. They're away from the house, they're away from the family, and the children don't understand. And it's like, why am I doing this though? It's like I'm outside, I'm running the streets, chasing counterfeits, I'm doing whatever, like I'm doing whatever I want, but what am I doing this for? Like, I need to be home. Like, so they're having this epiphany, like, but why though? I'm on tour, gotta get it done, but why? Missed out on so much, I really need to make it up. So it says, while Ed originally planned on working less when he became a dad, he found the lack of structure challenging, and as he previously spoken about, his mental health issues, right? So some of your spouses may be dealing with mental health issues or need therapy, whatever. It is what it is. Like, we're human. And he also talks about how alcohol served as a release for him. We talked about how alcohol and substances, or, you know, other things, other vices, sex, drugs, whatever, marijuana, it could be anything, you know, vices that they were using for release, right? It says also on regrets, he sings, Ed Sheeran sings, always said I'd pause work as soon as you got here. I'm believing he talking about the daughter being born. Without structure, I just slipped into depression again, right? So this is a battle that they've been going through that's, again, outside of the relationship. They've had their own eternal issues already, right? That's why God will have you stand for somebody, like pretty much what we're doing, and you thinking that what's happening is just the offense to you, right? But really, it's not only just to you. They're suffering internally with their own stuff, right? That really has nothing to do with you, right? It's not to blame you. Some of it, you might be the cause of some of this stuff, but they already had their own issues, right? They already had their own battles. So Ed Sheeran is referencing how he was in depression. He slipped into depression again, right? So some of them probably dealt with depression. Some of them probably dealt with, you know, mental health issues, mental health problems or whatever, right? It said, aim to be the best dad, but missed the mark, breaking both you and your sister's heart and your mother's too. So this is all Ed Sheeran's lyrics, y'all. This is why God chose Ed Sheeran in the dream. I do not listen to Ed Sheeran. I know one song, and that's Take Me Into Your Loving Arms. That's the only song I know. I don't know nothing else from Ed Sheeran. And if I do know the song, I don't know it's him. Like, there's no reason for me to be dreaming about an Ed Sheeran. This is God. Okay? I need y'all to know that. So another parallel, like he said, breaking both you and your sister's heart and your mother's too. However, not all the songs point to heartbreak for Ed. Because I'm like, all right, Lord, well, we talk about all this, you know, bad relationship stuff and, you know, mental health issues. Where's the good part, right? So it says, however, not all of the songs point to heartbreak for Ed. With freedom and crashing revealing after the crisis talks, the couple resolved their relationship problems and got their spark back. What is that? Restoration. Not all the songs point to heartbreak for Ed. With freedom and crashing, revealing that after their crisis talk. So I'm assuming freedom and crashing is two other songs. Okay, two other titles for two other songs on the album. It reveals that the couple resolved their relationship problems and got back their spark. Let me show y'all. So y'all know I'm not. This is an article. Ed Sheeran and his wife resolved their relationship problems and got back their spark. This is why God used Ed Sheeran in my dream this morning. This article was released. I hope y'all can see it. Let me scroll all the way up. This article was released when I clicked on the article. It originally said 10 hours ago. I don't know what it may say now. It may say 12 hours or so. But let me show y'all what the dates. Come on, child. Hold up. I'm gonna use the mouse because this is taking too long. 9:55 a.m. November 29th, 2025. God gave me this dream November 28th. I went to sleep November 27th. I don't know what time I had the dream in the middle of the night, but I woke up, wrote the dream around 5 a.m., wrote the notes down from the dream, 5 a.m., November 28th. Ed Sheeran in my dream. I don't know nothing about no Ed Sheeran, right? I delivered the revelation from the dream that God gave me, that he already downloaded to me. But I was like, God, why you chose Ed Sheeran though? Why did you choose Ed Sheeran in my dream? I'm like, maybe I need to read those lyrics. Take me into your loving arms. Maybe I need to read the lyrics from that song. Maybe you saying something about that song. That's what I was going to do. I was going to go study those lyrics for that song because God has me to release song lyric messages as well. So I'm like, let me go look up those lyrics later. But I was just doing so much today and I never got to it. But now I'm in the car, I'm riding home, and I'm like, let me go look up Ed Sheeran. So I just typed in Ed Sheeran just to find out he just released an album. Never would have known that. He just released an album, and they have articles talking about 36 minutes ago, 8 hours ago, 10 hours ago. Y'all, I had the dream of Ed Sheeran, and he released an album this week, right? The project is called Play. His 8th album, 8 meaning new beginnings. All right, so let me finish the article. So we can wrap this up. Where was I at? And my computer is making noise like it's about to shut off. Okay, hold on. So he talks about being on tour, talks about being away from the kids, the 2 girls, and leaving the mother to raise the 2 girls by herself. That's even a parallel. That might be a parallel for y'all too. But the tour don't mean, obviously y'all's spouse is probably not on tour. You probably are not with a musician, but the tour meaning being away. They're not home, right? Divine separation. They're not in the house, right? So that's what that tour is, right? And so that's the parallel. God is showing. There's so many parallels and correlations between, at least for me, especially in my life, and what Ed Sheeran is writing about in his songs. Craziness, right? Okay, so it says that it says not all the songs were about regret. It says 2 of the songs that how the album ends. One song is called Freedom, the other song is called Crash, and it said, or Crashing, and it reveals that after the crisis talks, the couple resolved their relationship problems and got their spark back, right? That's restoration. That's redemption. That's a beautiful resolve, right? Resolution, right? Let me continue. Okay. Technicolor sees Ed admit his undying love for Cherry. Cherry is a wife. And on Rapture, so Technicolor, I'm assuming, is another title of a song. And on Rapture, which is another title of a song, he reiterates his wedding vows, singing, I just don't want you for the rapture. I just don't want you for the rapture. I want the twists and the turns of a modern love. Give me a kiss. I want to be fractured. I'd give anything for us. Keeping scars, screaming wars. Now I'm going to put a pause there, right? Not only is this bomb because he's reiterating his wedding vows that he said to her. Just like we said, God has given so many words over the past 2 weeks. 2 of the lives I kept talking about how God said a second time. He gave me scripture that said a second time, right? They had declared Solomon was going to be king a second time. God has showed me in that word that like people are going to come back home declaring a second time what God already said about y'all, right? What God already said you were to them, right? That you were their spouse, that you were their wife, that you were their husband. Whatever they declared before, like maybe they was in denial now, or they denounced it, or said never mind, or God changed his mind, whatever silliness. They are now like coming back to re-announce or re-declare. They said in King Solomon, they announced King Solomon being king a second time, right? So another thing, right? He's reiterating vows he's already said, right? So whatever he declared, he's declaring again. I wasn't there for the original vows. I don't know what he said, but this is what the article is saying. He reiterated his wedding vows, saying, I don't just want you for the rapture. I want the twists and the turns of modern love, right? And what's bomb about the lyrics that he just says, I don't just want you for the rapture. I released a lyrical message this morning too. God woke me up to, what was the song? Let me go type in the title just so I can see it real quick. It was It's Okay, Bounty Killer. And I told y'all, God woke me up with that song this morning. And I couldn't find who it was because anytime I've heard this song, mind you, the song is 20 years old, came out in 2004, excuse me. But anytime I heard this song, it was always on a compilation of other songs, because in reggae, they will have a producer or a DJ, they make an instrumental or a track or a rhythm, and a bunch of artists will get on this track. And so you have mad people or mad artists on one track, and you don't know who is who half the time. You just sing, you just know the song, right? So the song that came to my mind was My Eyes Can't See More Clear as long as you're standing there. Seems like I'm in a dream, or things are the way they seem. Sorry if I treat you bad. I didn't even make you sad. I didn't mean to make you sad. Didn't mean to get so mad. You're the best thing I ever had. So I went through a whole litany of what the lyrics were. Those lyrics, the Lord dropped in my spirit this morning. I have not heard that song, and like I said, it had to be 20 years. I also could not find who the artist was because I didn't know who the heck the artist was. So it says Bounty Killer, but Bounty Killer, I knew he had a verse on the track, but it's not his song. I didn't think it's his song, but it is. It has him as the artist. But the song is an R&B song, and there's a singer on it. So I don't know who the singer is. They don't give the singer credit. I didn't know Bounty Killer to be a singer. It don't sound like it's him. It sounds like somebody else's voice. But Bounty Killer is on the track, and he's doing his little rap part. And what he says in it, he said, I want you in my life. I don't want you as a memory, right? I need you to be there on this journey. Need you like my attorney, right? So what he was saying was like, I don't want you to be a memory. I want to live life with you. Like, I want to continue life with you. Same thing as Sharon is saying here. He says, I don't want you just for the rapture, right? I don't want you just to die or go into glory, right? When Jesus come in, like, I want to live life with you. I want the twists and turns, right? I want the ups and downs. I want the modern day love story, right? I want to be fractured. I'd give anything for us, keeping the scars and the screaming wars, right? So dealing with all the twists and turns, like, I want it all, right? I don't just want the good stuff. I don't want just the heavenly ending stuff. I don't want you just past stuff. I don't want you just memories. I want to continue life with you, keeping the scars and the screaming wars. I'll keep it all, right? To have you. I give anything for us, right? The article says, then it says, oh, I know now this is not the way to be a partner, showing flaws and honest thoughts. So that's how you and I will never fall apart. So even in the dream where the God ordained spouse, Ed Sheeran, comes home, right, and sees that the wife is searching through his stuff and found the evidence of the plastic container that he hid the dead body in, right? She found the evidence of like, why didn't you just tell me? Like, you could have just told me, right? You went through this all by yourself, right? You blew our lives up, right? When you could have just told me, right? And so even the lyrics that he's saying is saying, I know now that this is not the way to be a partner, right? They're knowing now that you have to be transparent. You can't grow. And what God gave me earlier too this morning to say is like, there cannot be restoration without the truth, right? You can't restore on a lie, right? You can't be restored with a lie. Like, the truth has to come out. The truth has to come out, right? And we did a word about God saying exposure or whatever. Someone else dropped a dream today on YouTube. So when I said God is exposing, I'm like, yo, God just gave me an exposure dream 2 weeks ago. I cannot make this up. Anyway, so they're realizing now, he said, I know now that this is not the way to be a partner, right? Not trying to do it alone, not trying to do it by myself, not trying to do it in secrecy, not trying to, kill a body and hide it, right? And trying to get rid of the body and dispose of the body all by myself and do it in secret. That's not the way to do it, right? He said, I know it's not the way to be a partner, showing flaws and honest thoughts. So that's how you and I will never fall apart, right? The only way for true growth or like elevation is to have honest conversations, right? Honest conversations, honest thoughts, right? Honest exchange of whatever emotions or conversations or thoughts or plans or whatever. Like, but you have to have honesty. You cannot build on a lie, right? And so really that's probably why God, there's so many reasons why God calls divine separation, but another reason why is because God can't build you guys on a lie, right? So truth got to come out, right? And so they're even having with this, and like I said in the dream, Ed Sheeran, although he never says nothing, but he doesn't look like he didn't look like he was angry at the spouse. He just was listening. Like I could see like his mind working. Like I should have just told her. Like I did all of this for what, and I could have just told her, right? And it's like, what the heck did I do? So he never says nothing in the dream, but I saw like his mind working, right? Like she's right. I could have just told her, right? This is crazy, y'all. Like, I don't know how God does this. It said Ed and Cherry met when they were school age at 11. The pair became a couple in 2015 before marrying in December 2018. God also has been saying December too. I don't know if y'all seen the live that's called the 25th of the 12th month. God keeps showing me Christmas. So if that's for you, if that's confirmation, take that as confirmation. But it says, then they welcomed their two daughters in 2020 and 2022. Okay. So then I saw another, that was the main article, but all of these articles are brand new because they're circling around whenever he dropped this album, which I don't know when he actually did, but the articles are new. So this is all new stuff. So yeah, it says page 6, 12 hours ago, Ed Sheeran makes a shocking admission about his marriage and is brutally honest on new album. 12 hours ago. 12 hours ago, y'all. Like I don't know nothing about